Hello everybody, welcome back to Love Notions channel. We have a really good feature Friday for you today. First of all, I want to introduce myself. I am Natita of SewNaturalDane. You can find me here on YouTube as well as on Instagram and on Facebook. I will leave those links down below. So let's jump into today's feature Friday. It is the Love Notions Compost Robe. It is a good one, and I have a fun idea for you today to kind of think outside the box when you are thinking of your Love Notion patterns, in particular the compost rolls. But first, the compost rolls key features it's super easy to make, first of all, but it does come in a calf length as well as a knee length, and you do have the option to add the hood with the band or just the band by itself, and you do have options to put pockets on the front. And as usual, you know, Love Notion patterns come in size extra small to 5X, and it also has a full bust option. So keep in mind, because this pattern does have some ease in it, you do want to pay attention to the sizing that you want to use, the end fit that you want to go with, and the fabric choice that you are using. You can use woven for this, you can. However, it is suggested go down a size. You might even want to consider going down 2 sizes. So it all depends on the fabric choice. Recommended fabrics for this particular pattern are medium to your heavyweight knits. So think about your pontes, your fleece, heavier knits such as that got a little bit more weight to it that you can use. And again, you can use woven, but consider going down a size or 2. So for those who are like me and maybe it's still a little warm wherever you are in the United States, or maybe you're in another hemisphere and it's just hot, that is okay. I'm gonna share with you a couple tips, because what I am going to do for my compost robe is thrift flip. And I'm going to share a few tips with you and share with you what I found in our local thrift shop and share with you what I plan to do to recreate my compost robe. So as I already shared the different types of fabrics that you can use, your knits, your waffle knits, your sweater knits, your pontes, your fleece, different things of that nature, or woven, and then remember to go down a size. So for me, what I have thrifted recently, and actually I would say this was early summer. So it's early summer when I actually thrifted this. So for those who are thinking, oh, it's a little too hot, or you know, maybe it's warm, or you're in Texas and it's not quite cold enough, remember, when you are thrifting, when you are out in the charity shops, the consignment stores, think to look at projects and items that are out of season, because then you may get a good deal on a piece. And that's where I came in very happy with this piece. I'm going to share this with you. Now, this is a quilt. It is I would say this is maybe for a single size bed. As you can tell, I'll bring it up closer so you can kind of see. But this is what I picked up, and this is woven, and so I will go down. I'll more than likely, instead of going down a size, here's another tip. This is why you want to make sure you take your measurements and see how you want this to fit and feel on you. Now remember, I stressed twice. You might want to consider going down a size or 2. For me, because I want this to be nice and cozy, and I want to be able to just wrap up in it when it is cool, I am actually not going to go down a size because I want it to be oversized. And when you are using pieces like this that you find at the thrift store, or maybe you have an old quilt and you want to go ahead and use it, most definitely do that as well. But you want to make sure you have obviously enough yardage. You have enough material to work with to create your look. This particular piece on the back is a fleece. It's a sort of a fleece. Yeah, it is a fleece on the back. And so for me, I thought, why not? And here's another tip. Play with, if you do have dual size like this, and most quilts you will, right? go ahead and figure out what pieces of the pattern maybe that you can use the opposite side of that thrifted item to create the look that you're going for. So I am adding pockets on mine. I am not doing the hood, but I am doing the band, of course, that goes all the way around. And I'm thinking, as long as I have enough, I will use the opposite side for the band and for the bottom part of the sleeve when I flip it up, that type thing. So definitely think outside the box when you are cutting. Another thing is, when you are cutting, if you have a quilt such as this, you might want to, this does not fit on my cutting table the way I want to see. If you have a design, this is not a directional print, but consider if you do have a directional print, you will want to lay this out on your floor. I have the large fold up cardboard cutting mat, and so that's what I will lay out on the floor, and I will lay this out and then lay the pattern pieces on it to see, make sure I have enough for one, but to see how I want everything to go and to make sure that I have enough fabric to be able to cut out and get the look that I am going for. And because I wasn't for sure that I would have enough yardage of this here quilt, which I think I should, but just in case, always be prepared to have yardage from maybe your fabric stash, or if you have a couple different thrifted items. Say you saw with this particular piece, it came with pillowcases or something like that. Just grab everything, grab the entire collection so you know that you have enough to work with. But I went ahead and picked up this fleece from Joann Fabrics, and I figured, okay, if I don't have quite enough to do the band the way I want to with this thrifted item, I will just go ahead and create the band out of this fleece. And when I do the cuffs, I will just do the cuffs in this, or the bottom of the sleeve in this, to get the look that I'm going for. So, and maybe even the pockets, I don't know. This is one of those projects where you can just, it's easy, it's quick, it shouldn't take long. It's just all about pattern placement and the final outcome that you are going for. So that is my suggestion for this. And again, $5 compost rolls. This here is perfect for gifts this time of year, for quick gifts too. Quick gifts you can make for others. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and jump into some cutting and some sewing, and I'll come in with my final review. And before we jump into sewing, we have a quick change up here. As I was looking at my pattern, and consider this again, the importance of making sure you have enough yardage of your thrifted item, because I did want a band at the bottom of my compost rolls, I decided that because there is only this much to cut out from the front and the back, I'm going to obviously have to make my band much deeper at the bottom that I was going for, but I am able to get the pockets. But I have plenty of this Sherpa left here to do the rest of the compost rolls. So let's go ahead, let's get to sewing and see how this turns out, and for a full review. So here's a tip. If you do decide to work with a quilt, you will notice as you're working with the quilt pieces that some of the pieces may shift because you are cutting the way you are cutting out your fabric pieces. So you want to make sure that your quilting pieces are lined up properly so everything is matching up when you do sew everything together. Then as you are sewing together, if you are serging like I did, take your time. This is sped up, but take your time when you are serging, because this area for this Sherpa is really, really thick. And I did finish all of my seams with the serger, except for the band. I actually just stitched that on because the seams were just too thick to run through the serger. Just a couple tips for you. Okay, Lady Dane is wearing the final result, and I must say I am in love. So here is my full review. First of all, super duper casual, easy, cozy sewing vibes, sewing project for sure. I took my time. It took me about 3 hours, a little longer. I think this is a good 2 to 3 hours sew. And for me, it took a little bit longer because I did have a little bit of that piecing to put together so far as the bottom that I was looking for. I am so happy with how this turned out. So happy. The instructions are super easy to follow. If I did not mention, it does come with a head wrap. So if you need a head wrap, don't mind a head wrap. After you get out the shower, need to wrap up your head or something like that, the head wrap is in there. Easy breezy. But so far as this robe, I am in love. I don't know if anybody is like me. I am first to admit, I have had a robe that I have been wearing for years. I mean 10, 15 years. And you know how you just get comfortable with it, but it's starting, it has holes. Maybe you have to keep sewing, re-sewing on the zipper, because my other one is zipper that I bought ready to wear like 15 years ago. And I've wanted a robe for a long time. And so this, I am so in love with this thrift flip. You are going to have to let me know what you think in the comments. But as I have shared, the tips, if you decide to use a Sherpa fleece such as this is super duper thick, super thick. I highly suggest use your walking foot. If you have a walking foot on your machine, use your walking foot. I misplaced my walking foot. I'm gonna have to do, I don't know how I did that, but use your walking foot. And also, when you are clipping your pieces together, I highly suggest, here's another tip for you. If you do not own these, now I picked these up for bag making, but really thick projects like this, they're hair clips. They're just little hair clips, and they're much sturdier and better than using wonder clips. And most certainly when you're using thick fabrics such as Sherpa, a pin can get lost inside of your project. So I do highly suggest this pattern. I am, like I said, I am in love. The Sherpa does shed quite a bit. I know once it goes through the wash a couple times and everything, it'll be fine. But initially when you're working with it, be prepared, because there was a lot of vacuuming of the sewing room and of the house, quite frankly, because Sherpa was just like flying everywhere and following me all around. But I absolutely love how it turns out. I should have been popping up pictures and videos so you can see how it looks, but I am in love. And this is the reason, the main reason why I did not go with my normal size. Remember, I said I went with the normal size. Well, no, I went up a little bit, 2X and graded out to a 3X around the waist and hip, because I really wanted to wrap it around me. I knew with the Sherpa, the inside of the Sherpa is super soft. So it's not, I know some fabrics like this can tend to be a little rough and maybe your skin might be a little sensitive, but this is not like that. And I knew, instead of, sometimes it gets cool, and instead of maybe turning up the heat, it'll just be nice just to wrap myself in this, and I am good to go. With some hot cocoa, of course. So that is today's Feature Friday, my full review. I highly, highly recommend this pattern. Go ahead, thrift flip your favorite pattern, upcycle, but get the compost rolls, $5 today, Feature Friday. All the links will be down in the description box so you can check everything out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. You all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and happy sewing this fall and winter. Bye.